Welcome to our weekly look at Tiffin University football. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my right, head coach Brett Ekkens. Coach, welcome in. It's homecoming week. Always a good time on campus.
Yeah, big week. Excited for the game, and yeah, always a lot of activities this week on campus.
A lot of activities, including the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which will happen Saturday morning before the Dragons take on Ashland with a 1 o'clock kickoff at Frost Cow. Then that night, our Night of Champions event. You can sprinkle in volleyball games on Friday, Saturday, soccer on Saturday as well. So it'll be a very busy, hopefully very productive Dragon win weekend, and everybody can take a nice deep breath on Sunday and maybe relax a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy weekend, and we're looking forward to the game.
Dragons last weekend went on a road to Thomas More University, someplace the road is something the Dragons have been very familiar with this year, as their schedule is kind of set up that way. But Tiffin really just went down there and took care of your business, kind of built up a big lead in the first half, and the second half just kind of rode the clock out, and the Dragons, like I said, just went down there and took care of your business, really.
Yeah, it was good to go on the road, and honestly, we've enjoyed that. It's not something we're going to want to take 7 road trips next year, but we've enjoyed the process of going and spending time together, and we set our sights on starting as fast as we could. And ultimately, the first half went really well. And in the second half, we were able to get a lot of guys reps that are meaningful for their future and for our future of our program.
It made my job difficult because a lot of names I don't get a chance to say a whole lot. But
sure.
You talked about starting off fast. You get your first touchdown at the 10:34 mark. Tyrese Banks-Dorn, 5-yard run. Kick was good. 10 plays, 90-yard drive to open up the game for your club. 4:19 off the clock. That's a good start.
Yeah, it was a good, efficient start. Something we set our sights on, like we said, all week. We talked about all 3 phases needed to start the same way, and we felt like we did that.
Ethan Holbrook got in the end zone a couple times on Saturday. First one from Alex Johnson, just 2-yard pass, a 5-play, 42-yard drive, and the Dragons built a quick early 14-0 lead over the Thomas More Saints.
Yeah, Ethan's been incredibly consistent all year. It was great. Alex came out. Alex was incredibly efficient. I think it was 10 for 20, 10 for 21, or sorry, 17 for 20.
But he started out like 11 for his first 11 or something like that.
That's what it was. His efficiency was great. Right. Protection was good again this week, and honestly, it was really good to see our receivers go out and do what we know they can do.
You mentioned the offensive line with protection, because Thomas Moore's got a couple defensive linemen. Their names are towards the top of the statistical leaders in the conference, and I didn't really say their names a whole lot. I think your offensive line did a really good job from start to finish on Saturday.
Yeah, they've got a good defense, and we certainly respected Thomas More and respect Thomas More. But going into the game, watching the film, there were things that they did on film that presented challenges for us, and for us it was all about attacking what we saw and trying to go out there and run the ball efficiently and protect the quarterback and move the ball down the field and be efficient.
Later on in the first quarter, Thomas More was able to get a field goal in and make the score 14-3 after the first 15, but it was all Dragons in the second quarter. The first one, Ethan Holbrook the second time, 13-yard pass from Alex, a 5-play, 80-yard drive, just $1:42 off the clock, and the Dragons stretch their lead out to 21-3.
Yeah, it was great to get out to an early lead, and really, we continued that through the remainder of the first half.
We mentioned a few times this year about Ronald Blackman so close to breaking one. He broke about a 20-yarder the week before. This week, though, goes for 66 in the second quarter. 2 plays, only 80 yards, only 44 seconds. But Ronald, once he found some room there, he was gone. It was fun to see.
Yeah, he had a quick cut to the edge, and he is fast. You can see that on film. He pulled away, and nobody was going to catch him when he was in the open field.
Well, the Dragons now have a 3rd week in a row Defensive Athlete of the Week in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. This time, Ethan Evers, a 33-yard interception return. The kick was good, and great to see your defense scoring 35-3. The Dragons take a lead at that point.
Yeah, Ethan, that's his 2nd interception on the year. He got one at Lake Erie, yep. So it was good to see him score once he got the football. You see just a massive white trying to block for him to get in the end zone, and he was fired up, but our entire defense was really excited, and everybody was fired up when they came off the field. So it was good to see us get that pick 6, and it's not just offense that can score.
Well, when somebody on the defensive side of the football scores, I feel like the entire defense felt like we just scored.
For sure. As they should.
Absolutely.
As they should.
Dragons score one more time in the end of the second quarter. Amari White, a 48-yard pass from Alex, 5 plays, 87 yards. Only 37 seconds off the clock, and the Dragons take a commanding 42-3 lead into the half.
Yeah, we got to work a 2-minute drill, a quick operation there. We had all 3 timeouts on the first play of that drive. TBD caught a short reception, and and there was an injury on their sideline, so we didn't have to use a timeout there. And then being able to utilize those as we moved down the field, and ultimately Alex connected with Amari for a big shot. But we felt really good about getting to practice that operation, and it was good to do that and be successful before half.
It's great to see it executed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
From the coaches down to the players, great to see that execution.
And honestly, it was all three phases working together. The getting the ball back. The defense did a fantastic job there, and then transitioning into going down the field and scoring. Thomas Moore was driving right before that happened. I think that's when Malik Baker had his interception. So
yeah, you're right.
It was awesome to see those defense transitioning into offense, transitioning into points.
42-3, the Dragons lead it at half. The third quarter goes by very, very quickly, and neither team gets on the board. Thomas Moore scores a touchdown with about just under 6 minutes to play in the fourth, and then Ben Rudolph from 39 yards. Good to see him get a kick with some distance on it. Probably made him feel pretty good, made everybody feel good after a made field goal. 8 plays, 46 yards, 3:30 off the clock, and that's the final score of the day, and the Dragons end up with a 45-10 victory.
Yeah, Ben was, fortunately, Ben was very active on Saturday.
He was.
He did a great job. Our field goal PAT unit did a great job protecting, and snap, hold, kick process was good all day, and ultimately they were able to connect there.
You mentioned Alex being very efficient on Saturday. 17 of 20, 247, 3 touchdowns. Was only sacked once.
Yeah. He made great decisions with the ball. We all know the quarterback job is one of the hardest in sport, and he went out and really did what we practiced all week and took what the defense gave him. And everybody plays a hand in that, right? It's
right.
Not just him. It's protecting and creating a good pocket. It's receivers getting open and being where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, and our running backs and tight ends fitting into both protection and the route concepts.
A lot of balance on Saturdays. The Dragons throw 23 times, run the ball 27 times for a total of 188 yards. Ronald Blackman leading the way with that long 66-yard touchdown run, but he goes 9 carries for 95 yards. Tyrese Banks-Dorn gets in there 6 for 35. Isaac Bunt's getting some more carries as well. But as a team, 27 carries, 188, averaging 6.5 a carry. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great to be balanced. We set out every week to be balanced. Our approach is always that way, and it was great to look at the stat sheet and see that happened.
Receiving-wise, Amari White led the way, 3 catches, 93 yards, found the end zone once, and then, as we said, Ethan Holbrook found the end zone twice. But a whole bunch of receivers got their hands on the football for the Dragons. 18 total grabs by the guys for 253 yards. The whole group did a good job for you on Saturday.
Yeah, they did, and that's been really a staple of the whole season. It's not just one guy out there doing the job. It's a great receiving core, and again, tight ends and running backs that can catch the football too.
A lot of guys making tackles for you on the defensive side of the ball. Jacob Tueme leading the way with 8. Kyle Johnson, Chris Walton, Malik Baker, Gio Albanese chipping in with 5. A lot of guys getting the job done.
Yeah, some familiar names there that have been on the top of the stat sheet each week, and our defense has done a great job with our game plan and then execution, and honestly, the defensive line being able to create the rush and the pressure that they've been able to the last few weeks specifically has been outstanding. It's not just Chris is a great player, Chris Walton is, but really we've developed our ability to be too deep in the D-line room, and Coach Randy Wright, our D-line coach, has done a phenomenal job.
Hugely important to have those fresh guys that the offensive linemen don't like seeing the new fresh guys coming in.
No, not when they're unrelenting.
Absolutely. It's just a few numbers from the game on Saturday. The Dragons outgained Thomas More 425 to 254. The Dragons are able to hold Thomas More to 5 of 17 on third downs, and that seems to be a recurring factor with our club. Coach, seems like your third down defense has been pretty consistent all year long.
Yeah, you've got to know the down and distance, and anytime that there's third down, your goal needs to be get off the field. So, our ears perk up a little bit when we hear that third down, and as it should.
Yeah, the Dragons go 3 for 3 in the red zone as well, including all 3 touchdowns. Well, the Dragons this week come home, and it is, we said, homecoming weekend. We'll have the Hall of Fame festivities in the morning, the Night of Champions after the game. But in between all that, a 1 o'clock kickoff at Frost County when the number 20 team in the country, Ashland, comes to town. The preseason rankings, you remember, had Ashland number 1, Tiffin number 2. And really, this is a big one. We'll just say, homecoming week is always a good time. It's always a lot of fun to have a lot of folks home. But it's a big one. I think both teams are just really looking forward to what should be just an awesome, awesome college football atmosphere on Saturday.
Yeah, I think you're excited anytime that you get a chance to play against another really good team. And for us, it's been the process throughout the year doesn't change, right? It's the next opponent. And when it's homecoming, when it's a team that's ranked nationally, when it's when it's a team that was picked in front of you, there's a lot of different motivating factors. We try to keep those limited and just focus on, hey, what does TU football look like week in and week out, and what do we need to emphasize this week? So, there's a lot of things going on campus, and we've tried to keep our focus exactly where it's been all year.
Quarterback for the Dragons, Alec Johnson, right now leading the GMAC first in yards per game and touchdowns. On the other side of football for Ashland, the quarterback Cameron Blair. He's thrown 7 touchdowns this year, 5 interceptions. Him and running back Tyra Stevenson, a couple names I'm very familiar with, and then DJ Harvey on the wide receiver side for Ashland. Talk a little bit about what they do offensively.
Yeah, they're incredibly efficient. They run the ball very, very well. That offensive line unit leads the way, and I think they do a great job coaching those guys. And then it's all about, you can see that they're taking what defenses give them,
right.
And they've got a very coordinated plan, and they go out and they do their thing, and they're efficient, like I said. So there's definitely guys in that on their offense that are dangerous, and we've got to do a very good job defending them this week, and they're going to make us defend the whole field.
Ronald Blackman for the Dragons, running back leading the conference in yards per game. But really when it comes down to it in this game, Coach, it's a couple really stout defenses. Somebody can make some big plays and somebody can get a lead. It could be a big difference. But, boy, both defenses on this, when you look at the stats, very, very good.
Yeah. It's we've been watching a lot of film this week, but really we've seen Ashland play as we've been scouting the other opponents that we've been preparing for. So we've known this for the whole season, and again, it's been not allowing that to pull our focus away from the opponents that we've played, and now the week's finally here. Both defenses are going to be incredibly stout, and it's all about each offense going out with a great plan and who can execute better, because we know it's going to be a very good football game, and we're expecting it to be that way. When you've got two teams that are coached well with talented players, that's what you're going to get. And for us, again, it's all about it's TU versus TU. How focused can we be, and how well can we execute with our plan?
Both teams riding winning streaks. Ashland a 5-game winner. Their only loss week 2 at the University of Indianapolis. Dragons on a 4-game winner, and those two teams are going to collide this Saturday, 1 o'clock at Frost Cow. And Coach, should be a great atmosphere. Homecoming brings a lot of former athletes, former just students, people who have a connection to Tiffin University, maybe some local folks who maybe only get a chance to go to a game or two a year. Maybe they pick out the homecoming game as a reason to come down. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see a whole lot of green and gold. And Ashland's going to travel a lot of purple and gold on the other side too.
Yeah, this is a game, if I was in the community, I would circle this one
for sure.
It's going to be a fun game. And again, it's two great teams out there battling, and we're fired up. We're fired up to be at home. We love playing in front of our home crowd, and I know our home crowd loves cheering us on. So I would just say, if you're watching this, come on out to the game, be there in person. Your support matters.
Kind of fun to have the Hall of Fame induction ceremony on the same weekend as homecoming and everything. It's cool to see those athletes who, some of them from back in the NAIA days when we were here at Tiffin University. So those folks kind of paved the way for the athletes now to be able to participate in facilities like we have here, like the Heminger Center and other places. So it's pretty cool to celebrate those former athletes, no matter what sport they played in.
Absolutely. We love our alums, and I think, like you said, they've paved the way for the current era of where our Tiffin University Athletics Department is. And, us sitting right here in the Heminger Center, it's a beautiful facility that we have. And
it wasn't here when most of these people were there.
Exactly. I've told all of the people that were here before this that they're the ones who built this place.
For sure. Dragons on Saturday, 1 o'clock kickoff. There should be multiple food trucks at Frost Cow Stadium, all kinds of things available. Football's going to be selling merchandise. The Exchange is going to be selling merchandise. All kinds, everything you would want on a Saturday afternoon around a football game available for you this Saturday at Frost Cow. If by chance you can't make it, we'll have the video stream for you at Flow Sports. You can also catch the radio broadcast at WTUD, TUDragonRadio.com, and on the TU Dragon Football Radio Network. We'll re-air this audio probably about 12:15 this week because the Hall of Fame is going to push things back about 10 minutes on our pregame. But we'll join up with the TU Dragon Football Radio Network and WTTF right around 12:30 or so as we get ready for that 1 o'clock kickoff. All right, Coach, any last words to tell the folks to encourage them to get on down and take in what your Dragons have to offer on Saturday?
No, just come on out and support us. We're fired up. We're excited. We'll be ready to roll, and come on out and see it.
Looking forward to it Saturday, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you there. We'll come back next week and talk all about it and get you ready for the following week. Only a few games left on that regular season. Hard to believe.
Crazy.
It is.
Crazy.
He's Brett Ekkens. I'm Russ Snyder. This has been our weekly look at Tiffin University Dragon Football Weekly.